doing the demo on the custom cover drops. If you missed my introduction and small review on these, I will have that linked below. It also will be linked at the end of this video. This is purely a demo, not a review on this product. Well, I will give you little tidbits on the product. Otherwise, it's just mostly a demo showing what I mix with these custom cover drops and how I use them. So, like I said in the other video, these are not something that you would wear on their own. These are pure pigment drops. So you use these to mix with other liquids, such as moisturizer, tinted moisturizer, foundations, primers, and even beauty oils. I will tell you right now, what works best for me with these drops is moisturizer, which I am going to demo my Ole Henriksen Sheer Transformation Moisturizer with this, as well as the Complexion Rescue from Bare Minerals. I love using this together because this is a shade too light for me. This helps to give me more coverage with it, and it also deepens it up to my perfect skin tone, which I am wearing this combo on right now. And before we get too much into this video, I just want to say, yes, I am still sick, but I am getting better, so thank you all for your get well wishes. So sorry about my voice being a little off today. Before I get into the demo, I just want to mention that I have used these drops with every form of liquid that I mentioned. This does not work very well with me with beauty oils. Now, those of you that are extremely dry, I think it may work for you. The reason I think it doesn't work for me is because I do have a little bit more oil in my T-zone, and that can tend to break up a foundation. I do set everything I do with a little bit of translucent powder, so I was still setting it, but unfortunately the beauty oil did not work for me. If you're going to use a beauty oil, I do not suggest putting a ton of beauty oil, a few drops, mix it. It is going to be a disaster for you. When you use the beauty oil, I suggest using a moisturizer, few drops of the beauty oil, and a few drops of the custom cover drops. That way you get the extra moisture and you're still customizing your coverage, but you're not going to have a slick mess. So that's what I suggest when you use beauty oils. Moisturizer. I love using this moisturizer from Ole Henriksen because it's not too heavy, and when I want more of a natural, just not a super amount of coverage, just a very natural glow to my skin, and you know, a day that I'm not going to wear a lot of makeup, I will use a little dollop of this, which I'm going to demo right now, and then I do 2 to 3 drops of my custom cover drops. The amount of drops that you use is going to speak to the amount of coverage you're going to get. Less is going to give you sheer, more is going to give you a fuller coverage. I like using 2 to 3, that gives me my perfect custom coverage. So like I said, you can adjust this to whatever you're comfortable with. Now, as you can see in the demo, it's definitely more of a natural glow to my skin, not giving me a lot of coverage on my nose and cheek area. I do have a very bright red nose though from blowing my nose a ton this week, so that doesn't really speak, don't really pay attention to my nose as much as pay attention to my face. I did go ahead and demo me mixing the primer with the custom cover drops. I did not apply it to my face because I don't wear this very often, to be honest with you. It looks exactly the same to me as when I use my moisturizer, but it has to be a lotion consistency in my preference. You can use any primer with these drops, but for me it works better when it's a more lotion, not too silicone texture. I really like the CoverFX Calming Primer with, again, 2 to 3 drops of the custom cover drops, or I really love the Hourglass Mineral Primer or the Too Faced Hangover Primer. All 3 of those have worked well for me on staying on my skin and giving me coverage still. When I use something that has a little more silicone in it, it tends to not last as long for me and can tend to break apart a little bit on my skin. And this is just speaking for my skin type, so I'm not sure how it will work on dry, but normal to oily, that's what I've experienced. So I didn't demo that because it's very similar coverage and application to when I use the moisturizer. I use my fingers to apply. Last demo, which is my absolute favorite way to use these, is to adjust a tinted moisturizer or a BB cream, even foundation, but I prefer using tinted moisturizers right now, that are too light for me or just not enough coverage. And adding these drops has really given me a great coverage. This gives me the glow. This is more of like a satin to matte. It's oil free. So I think that if you're dry skin, since you're mixing it to your custom coverage and your custom, you know, you're being your scientist and putting it with things that are more hydrating, you shouldn't have an issue with this being drying on you at all. For oily to normal, you're gonna love this because it's oil-free and it's not super matte, but I'm sure if you mix it with something that's more matte, it's going to give you more matte of a coverage because you're customizing it. So I did demo me mixing this and applying this to my skin. When I initially apply this combo to my skin, I first use my fingers and then I use a beauty blender. Really, it's your preference, but beauty blender really, I feel, gives me the most flawless look with this. You can layer with this very, very easily, depending on whatever you put with it. I can layer this really easily. I don't tend to though, I just tend to do one application, but I have tried to put more in the center of my face where I need more coverage and it works. So in conclusion, I just wanted to say that these drops are so customizable, they're so unique, so innovative. You really can do so much with them. There's not really a limit to what you can mix it with. There are things that are going to work better for you and others that are not. Just like I explained, what works best for me is something that is more of a lotion texture or foundations. The oils didn't work so much for me, or a silicone base. But I've heard that some people really do enjoy using them with like the mattifying primer from CoverFX, the anti-aging, which have more of a silicone feel. So to each its own. That's why this is so cool, that you can pretty much customize it to whatever you want. And like I mentioned in the other video, there are 25 shades ranging from pink, neutral, and golden, so you definitely can find your perfect shade. There are 0.5 ounces in this jar, which is less than a normal foundation, but remember, this is more of a mixing medium. It is not a foundation, so you're only using 1 to 5 drops or 1 to 4 drops. So these will still last you a while, just like a regular foundation would. These go for $44. Right now I also have a 50% off coupon to get 50% off a CoverFX primer when you purchase the custom cover drops on CoverFX.com. Only ambassadors have this coupon code, so it's very exclusive to you guys. So if you've been wanting to try out CoverFX primers and you want to try these out, that's a great deal. So that's it. Pretty quick demo. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any more questions or you just want me to maybe show this in a tutorial where I do a full face, let me know. I can definitely do that. I absolutely love you guys and I'll be seeing you very soon. Bye.